So next, we're moving on to the Empire.
I'm so glad I got here.
All right, so
play the little theme jitter thing. The da, 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 da.
we want you for the Empire.
Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
On the list. That's awesome.
Oh God.
Yeah, you gotta throw the desk. It's
The one ship that needs a million people to run it, but you know.
Yeah, we'll get there, but it's
That's no moon. That's a massive space station.
We have a lot. I honestly didn't realize how many different ties there were.
Yeah.
I knew there was a few, but I didn't know there was this many when I was looking at it. Because I look at it, I'm like, that's a TIE fighter. No, that's a TIE fighter. I'm like, nope.
Oh, and there's actually more than that.
Look at all those chickens.
Too that we
yeah.
There's a lot more.
Yeah, you probably could get the whole tier,
Yeah, right.
Ties.
The tie tier.
Yeah,
it's a tie. It'll be a tie.
I got that reference.
Okay, so the first one we got the traditional TIE fighter.
I was going to say someone else do it, please. The horrible this.
Or no, here's where I'm going to play the Baja Blast with the TIE fighter.
I'm about to go to Taco Bell and get me a Baja Blast.
I would say A for classic.
A for classic. They were good trainers for sure.
I can agree with that.
Everybody started with one. If you
that shot in Andor of the meteor shower with that TIE fighter pilot going in the
chef's kiss.
That was beautiful. Yeah. And then growing up and playing The Force Unleashed, hours on end, grabbing those out of the air and throwing them.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, the blaster fire too, which is bleep 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 bleep. It's such an iconic sound in Star Wars. But so next we got the TIE Interceptor.
Oh, I remember this one. Video games, hells yeah.
Yeah, this one's that's the Thrawn classic.
Yeah.
Elite squadron kind of people.
She's a runner.
And this goes for all the TIEs too. When they lose a wing, they make a satisfying spiraling noise. Spiral out of the air.
What would you say for this one?
I like it better than the traditional, actually.
It looks a lot sleeker. That's for sure.
It looks cooler for sure.
Yes, it. If I remember right, it actually has a disruptor for shields and stuff in one of its main cannons.
And they have hyperdrives too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I know the TIE, which is coming up. The TIE Defenders do, because that was Thrawn's project that he wanted to have hyperdrive systems in all the ships. Because that was a weakness of theirs. But I don't know.
I agree with JT. I mean, it's cooler than the OG. So
next we have the TIE Bomber, which is basically the Y.
B for bomber.
B for bomber.
Man,
you guys thought this was a tier list
Let's
ranking?
ask a Mandalorian what they think about those things.
Oh, especially
over.
Oh, Jesus. We don't see a lot of this next one, the TIE Defender. I don't know
the Rebels one.
Yeah, because it was it was Thrawn. It was Thrawn and Krennic were fighting over funding for the Death. Krennic's was the Death Star and Thrawn's was the TIE Defender project, which that's a whole arc in Rebels that they talk about,
which is cool to see behind the scenes.
I do like all because it shoots it's kind of like the B-wing where it has that one laser beam blast. The design I'm not really crazy about. I think it's just cool that it shoots a laser beam and it has hyperdrive, but as far as design goes, I think it's the weakest one on the list.
And doesn't the pod also stay static as the
it's exactly like the B-wing where it can spin, I think.
I think it's cooler than the bomber. I think it's a little more innovative.
Really?
I don't know if it beats the original classic though.
Interesting. Okay. I would personally. This is for me. This is a C one for me, but we'll put it in B because you guys, all you guys seem to want to put it in B. So we'll do that. But that's why we have the tier list ranking, right? So everybody gets their vote. Next we have Vader's Advanced TIE Fighter. I believe it's the X1.
TIE Advanced, yeah.
I would say this one's my favorite version of the TIE, so I would put it in S.
Really?
Just because I think it looks super cool.
Okay, I don't think it's really too far off from the bomber. I think it's a little plain.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I will. Yeah,
I don't.
It's like a normal like standard TIE fighter, and they just did this with the wings. They just crunched.
Yeah, but they also stretched the back. Remember, he's got more junk in the trunk. It's not just it's not the ball with the sides.
Because I think his has the hyperdrive in it.
Yeah.
His has like none of them had hyperdrives besides his. So.
How is he going to be spinning out then? Whatever.
I remember.
Who said he could drive it? I mean, or fly.
Well, he had to survive. They had to pick one way.
He's the best pilot.
Also, him standing on top of it with a lightsaber is like the coolest.
That's the one. That's the one.
Awesome.
Well, you can have Vader standing on top of any of these ships, and
that's fair. That's fair.
Pretty dope.
I think if I had to pick one that he's standing on top of, that would be the coolest. It would be because he would look silly if he was standing on top of the Death Star. Okay, so we got.
I like it.
Yes.
Brad's got A. JT, what are you picking?
Maybe high B, low A, something like that.
High B, low A, and then Charlie, what about you?
That's the Chosen One's ship when he's Vader. Top A, if not S, for me.
Okay, so we got.
Well, Max, it's up to you. You're the guy now. You gotta.
I said S, but now you guys have got me thinking. I'm like, maybe.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
Just put it in A. Let's just say A.
Okay, A. I'm gonna put it. Fair. I'm gonna put it at the top of A because A. I think it does beat the other two. Next, we got the Master Disaster, the World Ender.
Terrible design, flawed, has a hole that can be shot into and blow the whole thing up. Terrible design.
Look, there's no way that there's going to be any problem with this. There's not like there's a hole in or anything.
Living conditions are terrible. Everyone's mistreated.
It's blows up twice.
But in all seriousness, though, the use of the kyber crystals is pretty cool to charge up the beam. It makes a lot of sense story wise too, with the excess, with all of the raiding the Jedi Temple and all that kind of stuff on other planets.
Well, the Force Unleashed made it cool too when we were traversing it. At the end.
Oh yeah, going through each of the chambers.
Yeah.
Test firing in 5, 4, 3. That is. You ever feel anxiety as a person? Try being the Death Star chamber as they're counting down.
Oh God, I can't remember what skit it was. It may have been like a Robot Chicken skit, but those poor guys like on the very.
So anyway, I says, forget the dental plan, forget sick leave. I just want a railing. One railing right here.
Yeah, I know. I've almost fallen over that thing so many times. So what'd they say?
Oh, get this. They said they're worried we'd be leaning all day.
And in Rogue One, we found out this thing can go into hyperspace.
Yes.
The Death Star can?
Yeah.
It just rolled up on Scarif.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because it would.
It's a little bit slower, but you can kind of see it.
I just find it miraculous that a thing with its own center of gravity could move that quick.
Yeah, which is like so like in hyperspace lanes, right? We're not going to get too much into the technical jargon, but like, could you imagine just being like in hyperspace and just getting like decimated by the Death Star that's like also flying through?
I turn now. Good luck, everybody else.
Hyperspace.
Well, I was just thinking, what are the space whales that jump into hyperspace?
Oh, you beat me to it.
Yeah, like what if those things are coming? It's like a semi truck hitting a deer, just gone.
Yeah. Dude, no one talks about that in Star Wars. Like people go into hyperspace. You know how many asteroids are probably just floating around? How many battles have happened with all the space junk just everywhere? Yeah. You would totally hit something if you went to hyperspace. Let alone they've like made it canon now with like you can weaponize it, which I don't really like.
Yeah.
But imagine freaking a ship going, just all of a sudden you get control deleted out of reality because the Death Star decided it wanted to go fast.
I'm a firing my laser.
Well, I think the hyperspace lanes, they're like almost like a vortex or something like that. So I don't know if stuff can come. I know stuff can go out of it, but I don't know if you can come into a hyperspace. Like so, like if like an asteroid or debris, I think it would get like basically like repulsed away. Because I think they're like vortexes almost. I don't know. I'm kind of just speaking out of my butt here.
Doesn't the Death Star like suck things in though? Like it has like a constant tractor beam that they can be disabled and re-enabled.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, maybe they have the opposite too, where they can push things away as well. Like, but as far as the design, I mean, I know it's a classic ship. Like it is the ship, but like as far as the design, it's essentially just a big circle with a crater in it.
Yeah.
Like it's not super. Like
crazy. It's got a badass gun on it. So
yeah, I mean, like I think the inside is more interesting than the outside of it, right? Like, what would you guys put it in?
I mean, just because it's probably like my least favorite thing, probably a C, but that's just because it's not. It doesn't.
I think C because I don't like it really as a ship. I like it as a space station. It kind of.
Fair enough. Okay,
Yeah,
we're gonna put it
C.
Yeah, that'll be
the whole comment section is just gonna be like, you put the Death Star in C.
How dare you?
Are you even a Star Wars fan? Like,
It should be the only S.
Oh fuck! I can't believe you've done this.
Next is a really cool. I know what this one's gonna be, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about it a little bit. The Executor.
Oh, Vader's flagship.
Yeah.
This is the executor or
Executor. I don't know exactly how to say it, but I think that's a roundabout. But yeah, the Vader.
I just known it as the Super Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
She bad.
Dude, it's just so cool looking, man.
She bad.
The size of that thing, dude.
Yeah, it's like massive. It's like, I think it holds like, it doesn't obviously hold as much as like the Death Star does, but I think it holds like 500,000 people or something. Because I think a regular Star Destroyer holds like 250. I want to say.
Is it like 4 Star Destroyers worth? It's like 4.
Yeah, I think so. Because you see in Return of the Jedi, you see like it's parked and there's like 6 or 7 Star Destroyers like around it, and they look tiny as hell.
I think what makes it cool for me, I don't know, is seeing it when it crashes, and that's actually using the Death Star, because when it pivots its nose like right into the thing, that's a cool visual.
My vote's S, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Oh man,
I was thinking high A, low S.
Yeah,
I like that it's a moving city like that, but not like to the extent of the Death Star, you know.
Oh, I just love that it has those little blue lights, like the all the exhaust ports and vents. It's like, so it's like it has like, you know, like when you put like LEDs behind something, like that's what it reminds me of. Like you have a picture frame and then you put LEDs behind it or something,
and that goes back to what. So Adam Savage, he worked on the Kaminoan. What is it? The housing domes from Attack of the Clones. He ended up doing model work on those. Yeah, and he was talking about like the making of those. He's like, I was such a fan. It was so cool because you can imagine putting all these little vents and exhaust ports and windows because they tell their own story. Like a light being on right over here in this area could mean that is the washing machine room or something like that. Like every light has its own story. So seeing something with a lot of lights on it on a big scale like that, it's really cool. Even on the Death Star, like a lot of those little white lights as you get close, and then when it shows that scene in A New Hope when they're getting tractor beamed in, you see, boom, you're in one of the lights is like a hangar, and then there's these like jump troopers in space like working on something. Oh, that's cool. You know? It's just him describing that like has the imagination running wild. So like looking at the Super Star Destroyer, all those little lights on there, that's pretty cool.
All right, we're gonna move it.
I'm going S.
I think S. Yeah,
exactly.
I agree. I think it's a lower S, but we have the Slave One.
Ooh,
that's an S.
I was about ready to say there will be a laser pointer somewhere from Strike all the way in Germany if someone gets this wrong.
And you know what? I love how they talked about it in the gallery or the making of
Boba Fett,
Boba Fett or Mandalorian. I don't know which one they talked about it in, but they were like, yeah, it took us this long finally to this day to see the interior of the ship like full on. Yeah. So they had to find a way to explain the mechanism on how the thing turns. So like when they're sitting still, like the entire exterior moves like that.
So when I was a kid, my brother had one and I flew it wrong. Like how it flies, I was like, why would a ship fly like that? So for years, I always just rotated it down because that's the way it looked like it would fly. Yeah. And I always told my brother, no, he doesn't do that. And then, Empire Strikes Back. When he drops off the back and takes off, I was like, okay, yeah, I guess you're right. I've always thought it flew wrong. That's just me. But is it still awesome? Yes.
The guns sound cool though. Yeah, and then they have don't even get me started on the sonic imploder. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those.
One of the most iconic sounds of Star Wars for sure.
I love the charge up too. That. Yeah, it's complete silence. That's cool.
Next we got basic Star Destroyer. the station.
One of the first ships we ever see.
It's very.
I
classic.
definitely think it's above a C because I mean that thing got around. It's how everybody got to or from.
It's besides the Tantive 4 blockade runner. It's the first thing. It's the first ship you see.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, I would even throw it in a low A or a high B. I mean,
that's what I was thinking. I was going to say either top of B or like somewhere in the middle of A. Because
it's earned its respect. I mean, they were kind of like the Cadillacs of the fleet. You know what I mean? They can tow a lot. They can do a lot. Everybody operated out of one.
Yeah. So I would say. I mean, so what are you guys thinking with this one?
Pull it down, or I guess if I'm above the tier list, I'm pulling it up. I'm gonna pull it to like high A, right under the Superstar Destroyer. It's really classic. Yeah. It's the
Is
first
it cooler
ship
than
you see.
Vader's ship?
I don't think it's cooler than Vader's ship, but it definitely has my respect. I mean, I'm good with a low S. I mean, let's throw it in the S.
And then we got this is such a, I always called it an Imperial shuttle, but it's called a Lambda class shuttle. I'm like, what does Lambda mean? Like, what is
Lambda?
Lambda? You got that
This ship
Lambda?
here. I know you guys will not agree, but to me, this is an S. Only because
no, man, I love this ship too.
It's classic.
Look at all the people that it towed to and from. The Emperor, Vader, Rebels are using it. I love the articulating wings, and when it lands, it drops down.
Yeah.
Cool. But like again, as a kid, this was like one of those ships. You know what I mean? Like I loved it. I love the U-wing, but this here is probably like, and I think we talked about this on my podcast. Like I love this ship more than the U-wing.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you guys.
I'm fine with putting
soapbox.
it in S.
Yeah.
I would put it in between the Star Destroyer and the Executor. Personally, like that
I mean, if you looked at me and you said make a sci-fi spaceship, that is like the most. That is definitely the one. That is the most spaceship of them all.
Honestly, if the wings didn't come down like that, the ship wouldn't do it for me. But the fact, like, if it was just like that and it landed like
imagine it trying to land, it just kind of.
Yeah, like I would be like, nah. But the fact that the wings go up and come down, like I don't know what it is about that, but it's like the coolest thing. So, if you guys are cool with it, man, I'll put it in. I'll put it in between. Nope, come on. Yeah, there we go. Wouldn't let me.
Yeah, when you see it, man, you know someone big's coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we see everything, even in we keep referencing the Force Unleashed when they're on Cloud City and the Royal Guard, the black Royal Guard with the red
Shadow
visor,
Guard,
and they got the saber stat, like the pikes, like the coolest thing coming down off the ship. So I'm cool with that. But that's okay. So that's the Empire. Let's go around the table and pick your favorite ship. Brad, we'll start with you again. Lambda, okay. JT?
I'm a sucker for the classic. I'm going to go with the original tie.
All right. And then Charlie?
I'm going to go with the Executor Star Destroyer Vader ship.
All right. And I can't pass up Boba, man. Boba is like he was my first, I say first love. I didn't like love him, but like he was like my first... he's my first character that I was just like, that dude is awesome, and like that ship is just so like, it's hard because there's so many great ships, right? But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Slave One.